todos.
Hola.
How is everybody tonight?
Good, good.
Okay.
Hi. Hi.
This is Costa Gorel. And let me do just a brief introduction. I've met Costa through one of our artists in residency, Ali Warren, introduced us. Like 2 years.
Three or 3 or 2 years.
Yeah, because it was around Zona Marco. So yeah, that was a long time ago. Crazy. Yeah, so Costa has participated in the online residency at different times. Costa, you were in Moscow, yes?
Yeah, I lived in Moscow and I was born there.
Right.
But before Moscow, I lived in Berlin, in Germany.
Okay. And anyway, so I keep Costa and I keep connecting over and over again. I follow his journey, and Costa. There's been a lot of changes in Costa's life in the time that I've known him. So I want to talk to you tonight and talk about like not so much the differences as if there were like a negative difference or something, like one is good and one is bad or something like that, but as in like what has changed in your studio life and then your artistic life and your personal life has been so significant.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I want to hear from you about what it's like, because you're living in Moscow. You had just participated in Art Madrid a year ago.
Yes.
And then you were in Australia when the war broke out. Was that where it was?
Yeah, in Vienna. No.
So and then you decided that you couldn't go back to Russia.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
What was your main concern about going back to Russia?
Well, first of all, I have to tell that before, when I was in Austria, it was a vacation. It was a vacation which my wife and I took just for 10 days, 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to meet some friends in Austria, and we were in Hungary at the moment. But before this vacation, I was preparing to the Art Madrid show. And after that, after I have finished a huge painting, which was 3 4 meters, I've started preparing documents for the repatriation to Germany, because, well, I lived there. I went to the school there. My first classes were in Berlin, and I am a German Jewish also, so it was the easiest way to move for me to move from Russia to other country, because I always felt like an alien in Russia, and I always was like, not the correct format for Russia.
Right,
and
you had the wrong power.
Yeah, exactly. And I have prepared some documents for that. I've already had some documents in which there's been said that I'm a Jewish German and all that stuff, with all my parents' documents. And then when we were in the vacation, it was the second day of vacation, and it was the first vacation for the 3 years. So, and
Case birthday.
yeah, and my my big painting was about the war, but about the war which was like 100 years ago, about
Right.
the 1917 year in Russia, and well, so I don't know, is it magic or not? I don't believe in magic and all that stuff, but you know, I just got a bit crazy for a while, and it was like, oh my god, what I didn't know, I really didn't know what to do, but I understood that there is no more ways for me to go back, because you know, I've read some history. I'm not a professional of that, but I knew some moments that there will be worse and worse, and that Russia is aggressor and have always been an aggressive country. I mean, the government and all that stuff. And I've had the contract with the Spanish gallery at the moment, and I called to my curator, and he told me not to go back to Russia because there won't be any opportunity to for me to continue to create the paintings and the art for which I was living and for which I am still living, and it wasn't a hard decision, because Julia and I were already ready not to live in Russia anymore, and but we couldn't go to the German embassy because I hadn't the documents at that moment on my hands, and our visa was too short for that, and we couldn't expire it in Austria or in Hungary or in Germany, and I needed something official that I can show to the avocados, lawyers,
Lawyers.
lawyers, yes. And then we came to Portugal, and we expired our visa in Portugal, and then we came to Spain with my contract, and I don't have the Spanish residency at the moment because our visa was stopped, and now we have my Spanish contract, and I have to stay here 2 years more for becoming for getting the residency card. Tarjeta the residency card, yes.
Yes, correct. And so you contact the gallery in Madrid that you've been working with, and you did Madrid the previous year and did it again this year with them again. And what do you have with you? Like, you don't have all your painting supplies, or were you traveling with that?
No. All my paintings before like 2 months, 1 month before the war were shipped to Madrid, and they were all my paintings were already in Madrid, and they were sold due to the Art Madrid show, and I didn't have any paintings. I didn't have I didn't have any new painting at the moment, and so I just came to Spain and started to paint again.
Yes, and
Well,
you had to rebuild a studio because your studio is in Moscow. Were you able to get things from Moscow to Madrid, or?
yes, I've ordered the delivery,
Uh-huh.
and they delivered all the tools, oils, and all my art stuff to Madrid, to Spain.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Um,
it took a lot of time, and it was quite expensive.
I imagine.
And yeah, and but it was like, well,
Yeah, what do you?
it was the only, yeah, it was the only to
It's like
rebuild.
it's a family member for you.
Yeah.
Like everything in your studio is like, you wouldn't leave your pets behind.
Yes,
You were able to get your
yes,
dog. Yes.
yeah. We brought our dog here, and our Toulouse came here too, but we have been waiting for him like half a year.
Wow, wow. Boy.
Yeah, and our friend from Spain who had the Russian residency at that moment, she came to Helsinki, to Finland. Then she came to Moscow. She took Toulouse, and she brought Toulouse to us, and back. And well, it was challenging too, because there were some issues on the border between Finland and Russia, and in Russia it was like a bit nervous, because the customers
Uh, Customs.
customs that didn't want to um, let them go because of some documents, and the documents were absolutely okay, but they just needed any reason to charge us. Yes.
Yes.
So
Very familiar with that
yeah,
concept.
yeah, and
Super active in my life here in Mexico recently.
uh, and yeah, I just well,
So
these
how long have you been in Madrid now? You've been in Madrid just a little over a year now?
yeah, a little bit more than 1 year. So it is like 1 year and 1 month.
Okay. And
One
I
year.
mean, I think about, in my experience, like, the artwork I made in Los Angeles, California, even though it's the same topic, the same materials. And then what happens to me when I'm painting in Mexico City, living here, are two totally different feelings to me, like
Yeah.
styles and like the way it looks, but also like the way I feel about it. And I'm curious how it's changed for you, this idea of you're in Russia and you're painting all these paintings, and now you're in Spain. How does that feel to you?
Well, I really don't know, because I think that it has to be judged by somebody else, because I can't notice this difference, because to me I'm just still making something which I'm inspired with, and I'm just doing something what I feel. And maybe, I don't know, I really I fell in love mm, with the combination of gold with black, and maybe that's because of Spain. and because I oftenly see black with gold, and I see that to me now it's very beautiful, and I don't know why. Maybe gold is something like gold color makes me. I don't know why, but I like it so much, and I began to like it here in Spain, and I've started um, to mix everything with gold in my paintings. So this is this is the real difference. Then um,
I was
mm,
going to note that because I mean, I follow your work, and then I went back in your timeline to look at some other work that you had done, and I was like, is he adding gold into his colors now? And then I noticed the contrast of the black as opposed to uh, in Russia, you're using a lot of like a very deep green,
yes,
like a
I'm
ruby green sort of color.
yeah, I'm still using deep green and blue, green, turquoise, all these combinations. And instead of black, I use blue with green and a bit of red. But I started adding gold to that. I mean, I don't use that metallic color.
Yeah,
Metallic.
yeah.
Well,
See, yeah, it just gives it
uh,
a. It's even a pure gold. It's like a shine, like a glimmer,
yeah,
like a little.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I love doing that. So I noticed it. I noticed it in your work because I love gold in my work too,
Oh,
and um,
gold is a
gold is like a lot of fun to work with, and it's really fun to mix with other colors too. So well,
yeah, and
and I noticed that the duality in your there's like this duality in all your work now. It feels like you've always used yourself as a subject matter in your
yeah,
painting,
yeah,
and your dog appears in there, and we see your wife
yeah,
in your paintings. And,
yeah,
like that, those subject matters haven't changed, but I feel like I see a lot more of like you multiplied in the compositions, like more than
yeah.
one of you. And I'm curious about what that means to you. What is the significance? ¿Qué es la significa para ti?
Sí, sí, sí. Entiendo. I don't. I don't know what what it means to me. I don't really know because I can't analyze it well. Well, I just feel some. I don't know, some lines and some things, some figures which have to be in some positions, and I'm just doing it. Like, I feel some atmosphere, and I just want to show it and to express it through the composition and through the colors, through the any movement and in the painting. And
Right.
I use myself as a model for my paintings because, well, it was like I've started to paint maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, and I usually painted people, and I've always was a big fan of erotic painting, nude paintings, and of all that stuff. Um, and when I did any sketches or paintings of nude people or some portraits with changing the nose or eyes, people were like people got offended on me, and by using myself and by painting myself, I don't offend anybody, and nobody can tell me what to do with that. And I don't hear that stuff like, I don't like my nose on this painting, or I'm so nude here, and I can do with my own everything what I want, and I'm not afraid to make a bad painting, to do ugly face, to do ugly body, to make it skinny or fatter. And I still paint people when they really ask me to do that, and when they are ready to see any result, and when they really want to have that kind of painting. And I am my friend from London. He posed for me for the painting on which I'm working right now. This is Orlando painting, which is behind me at the moment, and he posed for me, and I'm doing angels from him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've had this issue. I actually painted a portrait of one of my coworkers at a school, and she asked me to remove it from all social media and to never show it in public.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
offended, and I was just like, it was such a realistic.
Yeah. Yes. And I've had a lot of issues with people, and they were like, "Don't post it. I don't want this painting to see anybody." And I was always like, when I paint anybody, I always get shy, or I always start to hear that inner voice, which says me like, is it okay or not okay? Is it okay or not okay? And I'm starting to questioning myself, and that is a bit nervous, and that is a bit a hard conversation to me, because when I paint, I save my space, and I save my own space for my ideas and for the stories I want to create. And I've started to paint because I've always wanted to create some stories, and instantly I wanted to be a director, and director of cinema, and I'm educated as a cinema director, but because of a lot of conversations with people, I just got mad, and I just understood that I lose my health by working on in the cinema and TV industry. And I understood that my favorite conversation is me in front of the canvas, me and canvas, and that's all. And when I have been started painting there, I've met a lot of people with which I have best conversations ever, and now I'm not afraid to paint anybody. And when anybody asks me to paint him or her, I always do that without any question.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And I think it's a very natural fear. I used to paint portraits for people, and it was always so stressful to me how they were going to respond to it, because I'm not a good lie. I don't lie very well, so I end up with hurting feelings or.
Yeah, and you never know what is the best, or to do any any photoshopped portrait, or the portrait with any special lines, any special character lines, with any, like, when it's ugly beautiful. And
Right.
yeah,
Well,
and
I mean,
you
I look at your work and the words ugly, beautiful. I mean, they make sense to me because they're not beautiful in a traditional sense, but they're quite stunningly beautiful in the organic line and the delicate nature of the paint. It all feels, you look at it and it feels very accidental. Do
Micheal,
you, is this like an intuitive process for you, or is this something, do you plan out your compositions in every detail before you start? What's your process?
well, it's always an intuitive process for me, because even when I do a lot of sketches for the painting, then when I take canvas, I do absolutely another painting on the canvas. And it's always like I follow the line and I follow the flow. And it's never um, um, like the painting which I try to create on the first steps. For the big paintings, of course, I do huge, and of course, I'm trying to work on the perspective and position of huge paintings. But even when I do a big painting, I don't know what will how it ends, because I always create anything in the process.
What's happening in this photo? You're showing a piece of artwork in the streets?
Yeah, and that's all. To be honestly, nothing happens on this photo. It's just policemen who watch the painting, but the photo tells like something is going on, but nothing was happening. He just watched the painting, and he just was like, "Oh wow, it was beautiful. It's beautiful," and people going by, and they were watching it. But I don't know. I just like this picture because, well, there is some tense on this picture without any tense in the real life.
Right. Yeah.
So, but yeah,
It's like you have a scar on your body, and people are like, "What happened?" "Oh, you know, I just bumped into something one day or something." I'm like, "No, no, you need to make up a story for it. You were in a bar fight. You
yeah,
lost your footing, and the glass bottle shattered on your arm, or like no
yeah,
sense of drama."
yeah, yes,
Sorry. I should say it's like 3:30 in the morning where you're at as well. So you're being very generous with us. I appreciate it.
I just finished I've just finished painting for today. I was making sky in the windows on the painting. Yeah, and I didn't know that I will make skies today. I mean, it was just like I understood today that I have to do that green sky on the
And
painting.
you dream about your work? You like, does it appear in your dreams too?
Sometimes, yes, sometimes. But the general feeling which on uh, on which depends the painting is the, I don't know, maybe the feeling of anxiety, or something or something like, well, to be honestly, I don't know, I really can't analyze it well. And it's always about
I,
it's always about some screaming from
uh-huh.
the inside. But I don't know, I think it sounds just like bit pompous to call it like screaming from the inside and blah blah blah, you know. And maybe it's about some aesthetic and beauty which I want to with which I want to surround my own life, because I always felt the lack of beauty in my life, and I always try to do something aesthetical, because it's the main thing for me, like beauty and kindness. Like beauty is the consequences of kindness, and it's a sign of kindness, and that's the main thing for me. I mean, main thing, like I don't think of that every time, but generally, as I remember myself, I think that aesthetic is the main theme and thing for
What
me.
about luxury? I always get the sense of luxury from all your paintings.
You mean luxury, that my paintings are luxury, or like luxury goods? You mean
Luxury goods. There's always representations of this. Everything has a very jewel-like quality. Even the architecture itself feels like it's a captured jewel that's been formed into the architecture. The floors, the surface of your floors, the materials that they're wearing.
Fashion to me is was always like the declaration of your own freedom.
Okay.
Because it was it is always like the main and the first and the easiest way how you can to express yourself, and how you can build your own world, at least for yourself. And it's like and fashion, of course, fashion industry is like a glamorous industry, but some items and history of fashion tells us that fashion is continuing the architectural and historical stuff, and that connects epochs, traditions, and history. And for example, one and some fashion items and some fashion things are repeating the architectural constructions. And to me, some bags are like temples, are like Gothic temples, Baroque temples, and there are different bags. And to me, it's always about talking to the past and to the future through the main things like stone. And the stone, for me, is the language, and architecture is the language, because when we can't talk, and when all the languages are finished, I don't know. Do you understand what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
There will be still a stone in architecture, and the stone will tell us about the past and about the future, about what was happening, what was creating, and what the main themes were in some years, like Notre Dame de Paris, because when you read the Hugo, Notre Dame de Paris, you will read there, I mean, hundreds of pages of what stone can tell you through the years, through the epochs, and through the decades. And when you walk like through the street and you can see some back, and when you connect that to the architecture, it can tell you, it can create through its construction a conversation with you. And maybe this is the easiest way for me to impress the world. And but I forgot what I wanted to say. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
Uh, but uh, but for
Is there-
me it's but for me it's like a game when my characters are surrounded by the bags, and they are in some realistic but at the same time in the surrealistic spaces, and they are surrounded by the bags which are representing the old craftsmanships of the architectural and historical stuff, like Birkin or any other bag, and they are trying to hide themselves with these bags, and they are trying to build somehow their own world, and they own a world in which they are safe. I will, and this is about like beauty, craftsmanship, and about like what people can do. And this is the algorithm of the melancholia, and it always was a main painting to me, on which I always try to orient or orienteered
Orient, yes.
orient, yes. And I don't know, to me it's like a game about some I don't know, historical stuff. I mean, cultural, historical, about some moments which I try to implement in some in some game which you have to solve.
And Costa, do you have any items that are yours that you consider part of this concept of luxury that you use in your life? Like, do you have a bag that is your like cherished object, or what forms of luxury do you have?
I don't have any luxury bags except one bag, which you know, these luxury bags are very expensive, and I think that they are overpriced because they don't it's very expensive. Well, it's really over. I have one bag which is like Dior saddle bag, and I fell in love with this bag when I was a little child, and I fell in love with the construction and with the look and of this bag, because it was so unusual, and at the same time it was so harmonized, and it was like, I don't know, to me it was like maybe the manifest of humans' ideas, and uh, at the same time it was so beautiful, and something magical was in it. And
These are the ways I would describe your artwork in the same way. Like, it's a manifestation of humanity, and it's magical and beautiful in its own way. Like,
yeah, Yeah,
You're
okay.
describing a bag, and I'm looking at your paintings, thinking the same. They describe your paintings perfectly.
And I really fell in love with this bag. And when I saw this bag, then I have known John Galliano and all the stuff what he has created for Dior, and then I was inspired by Dior, and after Dior I was inspired by um, designers and fashion of ancient times. And then I found that I'm inspired by the ancient jewelry, by the jewelry of the um, medieval ages. And well, it's just like step by step, and then you don't remember what was first. Yeah. And yeah, this painting which you are showing at the moment is about the war, is about the moment when Russian aristocrats were leaving Russia 100 years ago, and I finished it 1 month before the new war. Oh my gosh!
Is it?
I don't know.
When you look at it now, you feel nostalgia? Is it nostalgic for you to see this now? Because
I
it feels like naive a little bit now. I imagine a little.
I
Almost
don't
innocent.
know. Yeah, yeah, it's a bit naive.
Yes.
I don't know really. I lost all my nerves through that year, through the
Yeah.
last
No.
year. I
And
really I
I mean,
became a I
it's
became
a
stupid fool person. Like, well, I never was the smartest person, and I never considered myself as a smart person. But now, really, I was smarter.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's stressful. I mean, you've been through a lot. It's amazing that you have the support of your gallery to
That
help
support is
you.
absolutely amazing, and I have received a lot of help and a lot of support from all the people in the world, from a lot of people in Spain. Um, I I got new friends in Spain, and they are amazing. And I've never had such conversations which I've had in Spain in the real life in person. And I really thank God for that opportunity. And well, I feel myself guilty for saying that because, to me, it's still a huge problem because, well, I understand that it's okay that I'm alive uh, and that nothing happened, but I don't want to tell that phrase
Mhm.
that this war was an opportunity to me. It wasn't, but because of the war I've made. Oh fuck, sorry, no,
Oh, no, I
and
understand. I mean,
and
it's not a reflection that you don't take the war
uh
seriously.
meanwhile other people are dying and suffering, and um suffering from the war, suffering from the war, from all that shit. And um I don't know uh, how to live with that because, well, this war is started by the country in which I was born and in which I was raised up to, and I really don't know. I really don't know how to live with that, how to distinguish all these two. mm, I don't know how to.
Contrast. It's contrast.
Yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah, yeah.
and everybody does. I mean, anybody who lives in the developed world, I live in the United States and the things that the United States has done, and so we, we make decisions about how we organize the information, and the people who want to have the conversation are the ones who have a sense of ethics and morals. But it's very easy to, you know, not you recognize the gift that you've been given, and you continue to create. So I think that's really, really important.
Well,
Work
yes,
within the
but
sphere you have this sphere of influence, and so you, as somebody who's coming from Russia, can influence the perception of other people through your artwork and who you are, and create other stories about what's happening. I look at this painting here, and then I look at this one created in Spain, and these are two totally different people. I see freedom in this. I see more of you, even though in your recent paintings you're wearing more clothing, whereas in Russia you seem to be naked most of the time.
uh,
Here you're like, it's like this realization, this bejeweled, goddess sort of figure. Like there's a sense of freedom in here. I feel, and that's and you see the gold.
yeah, gold. Yeah, I I don't know the real difference because well, in Russia I know that I was always protesting in my paintings.
I mean,
Here I don't.
I see protest. I see the element of your activist spirit in there. You're armored. Literally, you're wearing armor. But you're also bejeweled, and there's like this confidence in your expression that I didn't see in some of
Well,
the other. So it's beautiful. Has anybody
thank-
ever, people ask you, like, to me, you have a very queer sensibility. Like you have a
yeah,
very kind of non-binary sensibility. Do people ask you about this, and after seeing your work? I mean,
well, asking about what? About the queer in my works or about me personally?
well, both, because the presumption would be, if I saw this, I would
Yeah,
say that this is a gay man painting.
yeah.
Um, but you're married, and you have a rich personal life with
Uh,
your wife.
I just some people ask me about that. Yeah, but um, I I don't know how to describe that well. I never was like I never mm, felt myself uh, anybody except of me. Yeah, and honestly, I never was a gay, but uh, at the same time, I never was like, I never, I wasn't, how to, how to say that, how to say, I don't know how to say that correctly, but please understand me in the right way. I never felt like I always felt like there is something more than sex. I mean, sex like female or male, and um, maybe, uh, maybe I was born I was born like thinking about um, I don't know. I don't feel any cliche in my mind, and it's always about the look. It's always about the beauty. It's always about the aesthetic, and um,
I think
I-
that's a very I mean, that's why when I asked the question, I said I tend to think as the viewer of your work, I tend to see it as non-binary. Like I don't see it as intentionally being male or intentionally female. I just see it as it existing in this spectrum, as people say,
Yeah.
you know, like it's a spectrum. So I don't see you any other way than that. It's just this purity of expression.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And you know, maybe it's because of my childhood, maybe because I always was like I was well, I don't know, I was bullied in the school in my childhood, and in the university also so hard. And on the at my work too. And I was bullied in Germany and in Russia, and every in Russia pupils thought that I'm gay, and when I came to the fashion industry, and when gay people knew that I'm not gay, they bullied me because I'm not gay. And you know, it was like it was a fight about which I couldn't understand. Is that the real reason? And I knew that I love some. I don't know. I really do love colors. I do really love some forms, and my passion is to mix them on the body, on the people, in the interior. And I really, when I see white walls, I do really feel that tense impulse to paint on it something, or to create something of out of nowhere. And it's like, maybe it's something autistic, but I always was that kind of person. And for me, these like non-binary or queer stuff is about the people who are like not like everybody, and who definitely know what is struggling and bullying means. But at the same time, I don't know, I didn't meet other people in my life with which I feel myself so comfortable. And queer people are my team, because these are the only people who understand me, and with whom I just feel myself without any masks, without any playing, and without any, like, you know, I just understand that I feel myself safe with them. And
That is very much the reason that I use the word queer and the
yeah,
perspective I use within what I do here, because I feel I've experienced the bullying within my own community, because I don't fit into the whatever the stereotypes are,
yeah,
or the cliques, or you know, whatever it is. So I've experienced bullying from all different kinds of communities and everything, and it just seems to me that the entire point of it all is we all just want to be who we are,
yeah,
and that
yeah, yes,
that's
yeah,
enough. That's enough who you are. So I mean, I think by definition of what you're saying, that's queer. I mean that. So, and that's what I see in your
yeah.
artwork. I see that, and I relate to it as a queer. I look at this and I'm like, yeah, I want that goddamn handbag. Absolutely.
Yes. And I love the some ancient vibes of that, and some I've always been in love with aesthetic of decadence. And decadence was like always very excited to me. Like it was the aesthetic of something mysterious, and I've always was inspired by that, and maybe that influenced on me so well, because I raised up in Germany, and there was a lot of that stuff. There was a lot of like Egon Schiele, Gustav Klimt, Ferdinand Hodler, and I think it's all like Brecker, and and in Russia it was like Serov, Malavin. I don't know. Do you know him? Petrov, Vodkin, and it was always about that subtlety, about some like some maybe a bit gay gestures of the hands, maybe a bit about not about, but maybe a bit overstaged sometimes, but it is so charismatic. I don't know, it was so charismatic, and I've always wanted to create something like I can do something charismatical too, and something strange, but at the same time untouchable. Maybe something sexy but untouchable, and that's that was always a huge question to me. Where is the difference and the line between the sexuality, vulgarity, and like high fashion?
Right.
Where is that line? And I can't answer that, because I am a huge fan of vulgarity, and to me vulgarity is like, I don't know, I love that Italian style of huge jewelries, with that when women wear these black dresses with some gold on it, and with curly black hair, and with all that pompous and some, I don't know, some pompous and very, I don't know, it is very sunny, and but at the same time there is just a bit of something about vulgarity in it, and this is what I like there, because I think that sometimes vulgarity is just a sign of the passion for living, passion for life, and it's like a passion for the sun, passion to the sun, and maybe this is why I'm trying to do my characters more with that with these stage gestures, with some things, because I always try to put them in the theatrical space, because I want to do that very weak line between the real life and surrealism, and that allows me to create the some surrealistic atmosphere and ways of painting.
But it's entrancing. I mean, it is like trying to stare into a jewel. You know, that classic, like, you know, The Ring, you know, like Precious or something, like you sort
Yeah.
you get pulled into all the color and the texture, and it is life itself on the canvas. So I really appreciate you meeting with us. Now it's like now you're like at 4 a.m. I so appreciate. I mean, you're just I one day the gallery will have the resources to fly you to Mexico, and you can make work here. And I would love to see how Mexico and the art and the culture and the vibrance of things here affect your artwork too.
I adore Mexicans, and I yeah. No one goes to the bed before 4 a.m. Yeah, and I adore Mexico, and adoro Mexico, and I have one Mexican. I have a lot of Mexican friends in Spain, and these are the best people, which are like just saved me from a lot of bad stuff which could happen to me because I was really crazy. I mean, depressively crazy.
Of course, yeah.
I didn't try to do anything bad, but I was thinking badly about a lot of stuff, and these people helped me so much, and I really can't wait to visit Mexico. And when I will be able, I will fly to Mexico with the first flight.
And you have a place to stay. You
Yeah,
have a place to stay, you have a place to eat,
yeah.
you have a place to paint. We'll help you out however we can. So and I know that you'll be adored here in Mexico as well. I thank you so much. I'm gonna let you finish your glass of white wine. I finished mine already.
Yeah, thank you.
I thank you so much. I will post this interview onto YouTube and our channel. We have like hundreds of interviews in there and different things too. And I'll cut out some portions to make some promotional videos and stuff. But Costa, from the bottom of my heart, like always, I feel for you, and I am so happy that you have found some freedom in Spain. Well deserved. You're so talented. I hope you continue to make work.
Michael, thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you for having me here. It was a huge and the pure pleasure to talk to you and to receive these comentarios from people. Thank you, guys. And I'm really happy that I've met you in my life, and I'm so sorry for my bad English because I do forget the language, and I'm forgetting the words.
That's all right.
In English.
It's a daily struggle for me too. Don't worry.
Because there are a lot of languages which are mixed in my head at the moment, and because of Spanish, I don't use English so much, and sometimes Spanish and English are so similar, and because I use some word in Spanish every day, I just forget how to pronounce it in English.
Entiendo
So
totalmente, yo entiendo.
First,
Estoy olvidando muchas palabras ahorita. Sí,
it's better than me.
Thank you. Everybody have a great night. Thank you so much for coming.
Have a great evening and great night. Spanglish. Sí, Spanglish.
Ocho.
Sí.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.